Shut up, I don't wanna hear it. Stop crying. No, I don't wanna hear nothing you got to say. You're wrong. Cállate, muchacho. What I have to say doesn't matter. Then I get married, and guess what my wife want me to do? Talk about my damn feelings. I'm not blaming my mom. I'm just saying we go through things. A lot of y'all get with people because of their potential, but that potential has to actualize.
Right.
Maybe you need a question before you get into that relationship. One thing about looking at the issues that we have as men and women, the brother, he said something, and King, I'm not saying this to negate what you said. He said, you complete me. So I think it's healthier, not to say what he said is wrong and what I'm saying is right. I'm saying a different perspective to look at that. You don't complete me. As a man, I need to be self-sufficient first and foremost. And I say that if you're not self-sufficient on some capacity as a man or as a woman, maybe you need a question before you get into that relationship. Because if you're not complete, then that means you're going to be asking, requesting for something that that man or your partner may not be able to provide for you because you need to provide it for yourself.
Codependent.
Codependent. Thank you for that.
No one should complete you. They're supposed to come into your life kind of like as an accessory. Sorry, you know I'm a fashion girl. You know, you already have the outfit. They're supposed to come in as accessories, and not in a bad way, because you got it, right? You have to be careful that you're not in a Build-A-Bear workshop. You know how I feel about Build-A-Bear workshops. I'm not here to come stuff anybody with cotton, okay? I need you to already be stuffed and ready to go, because that shows me that you did your work. So now we can be partners. One is not dragging the other. What ends up happening is that you end up being in a, almost like a parental
Correct.
relationship.
Now I'm relating to you as my mother instead of my wife.
Right.
And this is subconscious. It's not conscious.
I don't know. I feel like your relationship should be a safe space. That might be the healer in me, though. That might be the over-nurturing giver, right? Sometimes we got to now go check our belief systems.
And the science behind the man or the woman doing the work, especially for my sisters, a lot of y'all get with people because of their potential. But that potential has to actualize.
Right.
So that's why that's the importance of a man being self-sufficient and doing the work. And the work is continuing. I'm not saying, we're not going to make mistakes, but you should see progress. You see work. One of the ultimate ways that a man could show love to his woman is becoming a better man. So I have female friends that would tell me about their issues with men, and the man, she's invited them, let's go to therapy, let's go to counseling. Can we talk to one of your friends? And the man is denying that. And that man's not here to defend themselves, right? They're not here, but I'm just saying that love is a verb. So if there's an issue in the marriage, in the household, a man that really truly loves should be willing to address it.
How can men love them? Themselves, their partners, and their families without losing their identity in the process?
That's powerful because a lot of men lose themselves in just being providers. And we're more than that, right, brothers? Yourself, for me, that's the easy one. Men have to start taking care of themselves, eating better, working out. See, I come from the context that a man is a warrior by nature. You have no choice. So if you're not working out on some capacity, then you're not living according to what your nature is. You got to remember, before this modern society where men have become domesticated, we were the warriors on the front line. So all that weakling or out of shape, walking up, you're a man. Can't walk up one flight of steps? What if they come for your women and your babies, black man? So I think taking care of yourself is the supreme act of love. As far as their woman, accept her as she is. Not to say you settle. I'm not saying that. But I think that as a man, you're a healer. I'm a changer or a transformer because I'm naturally an educator, right? So a lot of women that came into my life, I want to mold them into, you're going to read this book. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. Nah, she's perfect as she is. And actually, I might mess her up. So I say for men, the way I would answer that is to just accept them for who they are. Again, that doesn't mean the negativity. Everything that I speak of is always from the context of high frequency, vibration, and energy. Is that understood? And as far as their families, just because we share the same DNA, that don't make you family. And thank you. With that being said, that doesn't mean I'm judgmental about that. That means, again, I just accept you for who you are. And with the children, I think the best way a man can love his children is by being masculine. You know, a lot of men these days, and I get it, because we're trying to figure out what does this whole mental health and love and being soft and so-called toxic masculinity, which doesn't even exist. What does that even mean? So a lot of men are now, okay, oh, I'm being too stern with my child. No, fam. You're a man. You need to discipline your children. Because if you don't discipline your children now, what type of adults are they going to be? So the way to love your children, I'm not saying abuse them. I'm not saying be harsh. I grew up like that. That's not what it is. But men need to stay firm. My mother, I love my mother. I've healed. She comes from, I'm Dominican. She comes from a third world country, raised me on her own, working at a factory, Markel, I'm from Patterson. She did the best she can with a factory salary. And if you can't tell by my energy, I wasn't an easy child, by the way. But she was very harsh. And sisters, if you have sons, you know they're going to be married one day, right? Shut up, I don't want to hear it. Stop crying. No, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You're wrong. Stop. Shut up. Cállate, muchacho. Okay? What I have to say doesn't matter. Then I get married, and guess what my wife wants me to do? Talk about my damn feelings. I'm not blaming my mom. I'm just saying we go through things. So when you growing up in a rough environment in my home, in a rough environment in my city, my brother Culture, he's there. We grew up in the streets together. I wasn't allowed to make mistakes at home. I wasn't allowed to make mistakes in the streets as a big-time drug dealer from 10th Ave and 23rd, because mistakes will get you killed or locked up. So then I became a man who evolved and transformed his life, who's scared to make mistakes, who's insecure about expanding, I'm gonna stay in the small pocket because I don't want to make mistakes. So strength for me, sis, is accepting the fact that I'm gonna make mistakes.